I don't know of any human being, if you want to bring Nostradamus or the Jehovah's Witness or anyone that you want to, that have made predictions of the future with this much frequency and detail, which have actually materialized in the way that they've materialized.
Sounds good, yeah. Sounds quite interesting.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So here, when we say we have evidence for the veracity and the truthfulness of Islam, we're not just saying that we have kind of superfluous evidence or kind of arbitrary subjective type evidences. Our evidences are probably actually can be analyzed objectively. Do you see what I'm saying? This is not regarding the fact that the Quran is also, in and of itself, a book that claims that it has no contradictions, a book that challenges mankind to produce a chapter like it, a book of we would actually make the argument that the only ancient religious book which has been preserved in terms of its material, its corpus. The Muslims have never had a controversy, and this can go on the record, and believe me, I'm here every week and people they'll try and maybe, but I can say this completely clearly, the Muslims have never had a controversy on what constitutes the Quran. Never. It's never happened. They've had controversies on everything else, but they've never had a controversy on what constitutes the Quran. The Christians, on the other hand, they are differing on how many books are in the biblical canon. The Protestants say 72 books. The Protestants say 66. The Catholics say 72. The Eastern Orthodox say 81. So here, we don't even know how many books are in the Bible, let alone the manuscripts and these things. So here, what we're saying is, not only do we have evidences that are analyzable, if that's a word, but also we have that which is necessary for a book to be a word of God, a preserved book, free from contradiction and unimitable. So with that, do you see the power of the argument?
Yeah, no, I believe that it's a bit like when you buy a software for the first time and you install updates.
Yeah.
It's like Christianity came along, that was one update, and we've had Islam, that was the final.
I think that's a good way.
The thing is that the only problem was in any religion is violence, as you know.
Yes.
We've always seen this violence in all religions. I'm not trying to blame any.
Yes, yeah.
I think that the only problem is that the thing that people blame Islam for is why are they so violent in that area? Yeah. They have to kind of look at themselves and say, why is the Western intervention? We also have to look at that area of the world has been a kind of hodgepodge of different civilizations. Like you had Rome to the west, you had the Mongols, the Arabs, all competing, going, and of course that violence is very harmful to empiricism, and it causes arguments, Shia Islam, Sunni Islam.
Yeah, but okay, I accept what you're saying. You're right. Violence is never a good thing, but that's
that's what I'm saying. In defense of Islam, when people accuse Islamic world of being so violent, look at the cultural context with.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if we look at the raw data, you'll find that in terms of population, I would actually make the argument that Muslim people, as a proportion of the population, are probably the least violent. I know that sounds ridiculous. In the last 100 years, they have proven to be the least violent people in the world in terms of religion. Why? And this is going to sound ridiculous. Some guys laughing their head off at home there, believe me. But if you count the amount of people that have died as a result of the imperialistic wars of World War I, World War II, also if you count the 4 wars of America, and if we consider state violence as a kind of violence, which there's no reason for us not to, we'll come to the conclusion that the most violent people have been atheists like Stalin and others, and Christians. If you consider Hitler a Christian, I don't know what he considered himself, and people like him, and so on and so forth. Islam actually fares reasonably in the grand scheme of things as a proportion of the population, especially if we talk about the colonial period, because most of the Muslim world was subjugated under the colonial Western rule. It fares actually quite well. But having said that, because of kind of the post-Cold War terroristic backlash that we've been getting, and the focus on terrorism, so a lot of people now will think of Islam as a violent religion. But we shouldn't think, just looking at the raw data, of Islam as any more or less violent as other world faiths, who have proponents of those faiths actually performing more violence in the span of the last 100 and 150 years than Muslims. But going back to what I was saying that, look, we have an argument for basically the truthfulness of Islam. Yeah? I'm not going to lie to you. I just want to be straightforward with you. Yeah, because I like you. You know, you're a nice guy. You dress well. You know, I came here I didn't even dress properly today. You know what I mean? So I just came. You know, I was gonna come. I wasn't gonna come today, but I'm happy I did because I had a conversation with you. Yeah. Listen to me. I'm going to tell you directly. I believe that the purpose of life is to worship God through submission. Not only is that the case, I believe that the guidelines for human beings is therefore the Quran, because it's the final book for the reasons I've mentioned. So if we want to live a fruitful life which is in compliance with the will of God, it's got to be done through the injunctions of the Quran and the Sunnah. Now, I've given you the reasons why, like I've given you somewhat of an epistemological base as to why we believe in what we believe. Do you accept that epistemological base that I've given you is an argument which can be accepted or should be accepted based on the evidences put forward?
I agree completely. I think that unless someone comes up with a more up-to-date version of truth, theological truth,
yes,
I suppose it makes sense to accept that as the most up-to-date.
Fantastic. So what we can do is we can do the Shahada, right? Now the Shahada is the declaration of faith. Now do you believe in what I've just said? Do you agree that the Quran is probably the word of God based on what I've told you?
Yeah.
Okay. So what you do now is it's good now to become a Muslim. And what the word Muslim actually means is someone who submits their will to God. As we've said in the beginning, that's the whole point of it. And what I'll do is I'll give you my number, and me and you will discuss more, like, you know, how to kind of perform your rituals and these kind of things. We'll get you a package of things to do and watch and stuff like that. We'll take it easy on you. But how do you feel? Should we go for it?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't call myself not a Muslim. I'm already practicing Muslim in many respects, so
yes.
It's nothing new for me, but I would very, very much like that, yeah.
Would you like that? Okay, let's do it then. So I'm going to say it in Arabic, you answer, you just kind of follow what I say, and then I'll say it in English, okay?
Yeah, you say
yeah, I'll say it in Arabic first. Okay. So follow what I say. Ashhadu.
Wait, one second. You have to say in English.
Yeah, I'll say in Arabic, and then you say in Arabic, and then, shall I say in English first?
No, you say in Arabic.
Yeah, okay, fine. Alright. So, alright. So say, Ashhadu.
Okay, what does it mean though first?
Oh, okay. So.
No, you can't, I can't say it.
Oh, alright, sorry. I'll say that. So what you're going to say is, I bear witness that there's only one God worthy of worship, being submissive to, which is, we believe, the God that we talked about. Yeah, and that the Prophet is the final messenger.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Ashhadu alla ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Well done. Now you're part of the family, my friend. Welcome to Islam. How you doing? Well, now.
Nice to meet you on Eid as well. You accept Islam, mashallah. Alhamdulillah.
Well, we're all here, brothers and sisters.
No sins on your slate. No sins on your slate.
So now you're
Every week somebody.
Alhamdulillah.
Every week somebody.
Listen.
Started on a video and he ended up in Islam. Every single week, God bless it.
Alhamdulillah, we keep it going, man. We keep it going, guys, and contribute to
Alhamdulillah,
it.
listen, I'm going to give you my number off camera. And then you can call me for anything you need, yeah? And by the way, we're probably going to get something to eat afterwards, so you're definitely invited. Today's Eid, by the way. It's one of the extensions of Eid, so you're already in a Muslim celebration, isn't it? All right, do you want me to give you my number? Have you got your phone with you?
MashaAllah. Smart man.
Assalamu alaikum, good boy. Muhammad.
Yeah, Simon.
Assalamu alaikum, man, to the camera, bro.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Make sure to subscribe to the guys' page.